Welcome to the Success Face YouTube channel. In today's video, we will be discussing the book, Ego is the Enemy, by Ryan Holiday. This book examines the role that ego plays in hindering personal and professional success, and offers practical advice on how to overcome it. Whether you're a leader in your career, community, or personal life, understanding and managing your ego is crucial for achieving your goals and living a fulfilling life. So join us as we delve into the insights and wisdom of Ego is the Enemy, and learn how to become a better leader of action. Ego is part of ambition. Ego is present in those who use their skills to achieve their objectives. By harnessing the focus and desire to create and discover, scientists, athletes, entrepreneurs, and others achieve their goals. Be that as it may, over and over again, self-image drives these exercises. To advance, ego is necessary. Be that as it may, an unfortunate conviction in how significant you are has the contrary effect and blocks your advancement. What drives us to the top of those fields and makes us vulnerable to this darker side of the psyche is what makes us so promising as thinkers, doers, creatives, and entrepreneurs. Laziness and self-congratulatory fantasies are encouraged by ego. Characterized as conceited desire, self-image sabotages the association with others and the commitment that both permit accomplishment to develop. To survey your assets precisely, embrace a mix of certainty and modesty. Recognize that while ego is self-centered and capable of obstructing opportunities, it provides the security of self-satisfaction. Aiming for greatness often, greatness is a quiet act. The general public is unaware of the late fighter pilot and strategist John Boyd, who contributed to the revolutionization of modern warfare throughout the U.S. Armed Forces. He asked the soldiers he was commanding if they wanted to be or to do, in order to emphasize the difference between working for recognition and working to get something done. It's much simpler to just be someone than to actually get things done. What you want and what you have are at odds with your ego, of learning a trade well, of genuine imaginative insight, of getting along with others well, of cultivating support and loyalty, of endurance, of rehashing and holding your prosperity. Even though common sense tells people to find their passion, this may not be the best advice. At the expense of thoughtful consideration, enthusiasm is brought on by passion. Passion's enthusiasm and energy can conceal potential flaws that will eventually surface. Instead of having a passion that is impatient, look for a reason with goals. We start out knowing what is important to us, but we lose sight of our priorities once we have achieved it. Exercise moderation. Pride, resentment, and anger cloud your judgment. You are not unique just because you worked hard, attended a prestigious school, or belong to a wealthy or influential family. Even if you don't like it when your boss is rude or your coworkers are annoying, you won't get anywhere if you react and say you deserve better. Ego drives these actions. You are able to concentrate on the task at hand and appreciate the lessons you learn while restrained. The canvas strategy, the idea of restraint and serving as a canvas for other people to paint on, underpins the canvas strategy. Accept the long-term benefits of self-improvement rather than the short-term satisfaction of resentment. When starting out in the workplace, keep these ideas in mind if you want to use the canvas strategy. Most likely, you'll need to get better and have a better attitude. You aren't as important or good as you might think. You need to learn more than your education has taught you, and you don't know everything. Once you win, everyone wants to beat you. Because the stakes are so much higher and the margins for error are so much smaller when you are at the top, you can afford ego the least. Your success will frequently coincide with that of others. Try to make things easier for other people to do. Starting at the bottom gives you a chance to learn how something really works, despite the initial sense of subservience that may confuse your ego. Find ideas to share with your boss to overcome your ego. Give names to people who might work together. Do the small jobs that others put off. You help others choose a course of action when you clear the path for them. Issues with stories. Be somebody who does things instead of somebody who gads. Social media encourage conversation rather than work. You are misled into focusing on speech rather than action when you post updates on Facebook and Twitter. Text-filled boxes give the impression of confidence, ability, and accomplishment. Don't believe what you say about yourself. That is the self-inflation of your ego. The more challenging the task, the more uncertain the outcome, the more expensive talk will be, and the further away from actual accountability will be. Emily Gould, a blogger for Gawker, talked about the difficulties she had finishing her book. Despite having a six-figure book deal, she couldn't write because she was always posting on Tumblr, Twitter, or websites. She convinced herself, despite the fact that these were distractions from the actual work she had to do, that it was work. She was developing her own brand. The energy you need for your actual work is drained by all of the posting and conversation. Despite the fact that some studies indicate that speaking aloud slows the process of discovery, some people prefer to mutter the thoughts that are leading them through solving a problem. Similarly, goal visualization aids in the beginning of a project but eventually gives the impression of progress that is false. Talking about a difficult project is not helpful. It takes a unique sort of modesty to get a handle on that you know less, even as you probably are aware and handle to an ever-increasing extent. Success stories make it seem like success is inevitable. It's risky to look back on your own story because you can discard everything that doesn't fit the story you want to tell. This kind of story can give you false clarity and make it hard to remember the work that helped you reach your goals. Success stories mislead readers by implying that they are conclusive and that the story ends with success. However, the narrative continues in life. Everyone wants to beat you after you succeed. You must put in a lot of effort to maintain your goal of success now more than ever. Learning focus pride can be risky. It hinders learning. Instead, to keep your ego in check, adopt a student mindset by acknowledging that you always have more to learn. Mastery does not come from success. Everyone requires a plus, a minus, and an equal, as the world champion of mixed martial arts Frank Shamrock teaches. You can learn from a teacher who has more experience than you do. You can improve your finesse and dexterity by working with someone at your level. The ability to wait and concentrate on the task at hand, regardless of external recognition, is confidence. At the beginning of your career, it's easier to keep a student mindset. The desire to overestimate your knowledge comes with success. As our island of knowledge grows, so does the shore of our ignorance, was a quote by physicist John Wheeler, who worked on the development of the hydrogen bomb. You realize that you need to learn more as you gain knowledge. The should be preferable over, more than, perceived for, far past any sensible utility, that is self-image. Wynton Marsalis, a jazz great, once advised an aspiring musician to be humble, explaining that people who don't think they know everything are humble. Find the procedures that help you learn the most efficiently as you progress. Repeat those steps to make sure you stay educated. A smart person must regularly remind themselves of their power and reach's limits. According to the theory of disruption, every industry will eventually encounter unexpected change. Because they have stopped learning and growing, established business models won't be able to respond effectively when that happens because they are already too comfortable with their familiar approach. The newcomers are more nimble. They see an opportunity to satisfy a market need and take advantage of it because they are still learning. They look at their rivals to figure out what changes would help them grow. Standard of performance. As general manager of the San Francisco 49ers, professional football coach Bill Walsh established a standard of performance. He turned a team that was rated as one of the worst in the league into a Super Bowl champion over the course of 3 years. People told the story of this climb by saying that Walsh saw the team winning the Super Bowl and carried it out. He refused to believe that story. Instead, Walsh talked about how he always put his attention on what the members of the team needed to do, when they needed to do it, and how they should do it. Being truly impressive is very different from impressing people. Charge Walsh anticipated that the group should perform well on the field and off. The players became overconfident and self-satisfied after the team won the Super Bowl, resulting in 2 disastrous seasons. Except failure, errors are bound to occur. Taking risks to be creative or an entrepreneur necessitates failure on a regular basis. The issue is not failure. Identifying with failure is the issue. The ego believes that success or failure are the only choices. Ego confusion is that failure is only a reflection of what you did, not who you are. Ego tries to show that success can or will come from failure. Ego will seek out failure like true north unless we use this moment as an opportunity to better understand ourselves and our own mind. Dov Charney's actions as CEO of American Apparel cost the company $300 million and caused multiple scandals and damage to its reputation. Charney refused the board's request to step aside. After that, in an effort to acquit himself, he spent a fortune on a meaningless lawsuit. When the media revealed details about his behavior that the case revealed, he lost and was publicly humiliated. Steve Occupations was terminated from Macintosh, the organization he established, due to his colossal inner self. Although Jobs was enraged and opposed the company's decision, he did not allow it to ruin him. He decided to give it another shot after selling all but one Apple share. He funded the animation company Pixar and slowly rebuilt his reputation after learning from his management mistakes. He ultimately got back to Apple, and improved it an even organization than he might have worked prior to learning such hard life illustrations. If you think you already know something, you can't learn. Failing is an opportunity to learn, just like Jobs did. Don't become even more attached to your job, project, or goal when your success begins to wane. Recognize that there was a problem. Make an effort to determine how your actions contributed to that error and begin making changes. Check yourself. People may exhibit wild behavior when they first achieve success. Confusion and erratic behavior can be transformed into confidence and bravery through success. Recognize that you didn't know what would lead to success if your success came from an unexpected guess. Stay sober when others praise your greatness. Take Angela Merkel of Germany, one of the world's most powerful women. She did not take it personally or react negatively when Russian President Vladimir Putin attempted to intimidate her by allowing his hunting dog to interrupt a meeting, despite the fact that her dislike of dogs is well known. She remained firm, clear, and patient, despite adversity. You can't solve tasks with charisma, as Merkel once stated. People get the impression that they are bigger than life as a result of success. Stress makes them feel more important. Reprimands and failures also harm people's inflated egos. Observe the vastness of the universe to subdue your ego. Meditate on the vastness. Learn from nature. Find something that lets you connect with others. Don't let the ego's desire for retaliation or its efforts to bolster its value hold you back. Look around at how big the world is. Ego is my disease, but the world has a lot more to offer than you do. Do things with the intention of doing so. Let the effort suffice. Your ego is in charge when a project becomes focused solely on success. Slander or ridicule could be directed at your work. The drive to succeed comes from ego. Accept that the success of your work is sufficient for your efforts. If not, you might not be doing the right kind of work here. Find out what matters to you because your ego makes everything about you. By allowing the self to develop and change, genuine self-awareness reduces ego. Ask, what matters most to you? So that you concentrate on self-evaluation rather than external metrics. Be true to yourself by learning what matters to you. Keep in mind that the world has a lot to teach you. Put an end to the ego's desire for success. Instead, commit to a path of continuous improvement. Thank you for tuning into The Success Face on YouTube. In today's video, we discussed how ego can be the enemy of progress and success. We hope that this video has inspired you to consider the role of ego in your own life and how you can strive to be a leader of action by letting go of your ego. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.